Okay, May 15th, 2020, doing a garden update. Just thought I'd go through a couple of things. The tomatoes are doing pretty well. Actually have some small ones starting to set here on this one and on the one in the middle too. And I went back and I looked at my other video from 2019 and these are pretty much in the right ballpark. I was thinking they were ahead of schedule, but I actually had bigger tomatoes than this at the end of last May, so these are doing about right. They are a little light on the foliage. The color is a little light, so I'm not sure if they're running out of nutrition or what's going on with them. I think they might have gotten a little more water than they should have the first couple of days ago, because I had the irrigation system was actually watering these front ones, so I think they got a little too much water, so I turned that off. So I should be able to control the moisture better on these. The issue with the tomatoes has always been the blight, the early blight. And I did find a couple of small leaves on the bottom that were turning yellow, and I picked those off. And typically that's what's been happening the last few years, is when they get tall like this, I'll usually cut off the bottom sprigs, because they tend to pick up the fungus easier than the top layers of the plants. So these look like they're doing fairly well. A smaller one over here, this little guy right here, I accidentally, see if I can get it, I accidentally broke it in half about 3 weeks ago, and I was thinking it was just going to die. But what I did is I took the cut part, and it had no roots, and I stuck it back in the ground and it came back to life. So these are remarkably resilient plants. I literally thought it was going to die, and then it came back to life. So it's behind the other ones in its growth pattern, but it should catch up. And just to make another note, I did grow these from seed, so I didn't buy these, as full plants from anywhere like Home Depot or anything. I sowed these from seeds. They're Celebrity Hybrid, which I've had for a couple of years, and they've been doing pretty well. The sweet peppers, these are good as gold, is what the name on these are, and these were performed really well the last couple of years. So I also grew these from seeds because Burpee no longer sells these as plants, and they're doing very well. This one over here is a little small, but it's catching up. The beans, the string beans in the back, are doing better than normal. I don't know if you can see that, but there's actually beans growing on this, and this is, I think, the earliest I've ever had beans growing this time of year, and it may be because they might be a slightly different variety. I got some seeds from Max Mandel, who's a friend of mine, and they typically would not be producing this early, but I also had some seeds that I bought from Home Depot that were white beans, and I think that might be the reason they might be a little bit earlier. Tarragon's doing good. Oregano's doing great. I harvested some peppermint, made some peppermint tea. I dried it, and also the thyme is doing really good too. As far as these peppers over here, I had done a video on these that they seemed like they were having a problem. But even the smaller one here that seemed like it was stunted is actually putting out some new growth. So I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe these are going to make a comeback. The two here have peppers on them. Those are candy apple, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take for those to turn red, but they're supposed to turn red. And so far, all these ones pretty much have like little new leaves growing on them, which, like I said, makes me feel maybe they'll survive. This one has some kind of crinkly leaves on it. This was marked Sweet California Wonder, which I didn't order. I don't know why they put this one in my batch, but it is clearly a different variety. So I don't know how that's going to do. Because I ordered Thunderbolt and Candy Apple for this section. And this guy's doing good. This one right here is still suffering. Not really seeing any new growth on that one, so I don't know what's going to happen with that one or not. But other than that, everything else just seems to be going pretty well. As far as the feeder, this is my feeder that I put up because of the bears. And recently I had a problem with squirrel. It was a big squirrel that was jumping up from the beans up to the roof. And then he was coming over, he was jumping from the roof onto the feeder, being a problem. So I put these aluminum panels up there. They're like real thin aluminum sheet. And so far that seems to be working. It seems to be keeping them off. So we'll see. Again, I never underestimate what wildlife will do to get to food. So we'll see how that works. Everything else, doing well. And that's my update.